Have you ever wondered how the size of a website can so easily adjust between different devices like laptops and mobile phones? Well, the answer is responsive design. Responsive design means that a web page can automatically stretch or shrink depending on the screen it's displayed on. In the world of web development, you use responsive design every day. Let me share how it works. In this video, you will be able to explain how responsive design is used to provide the best user experience based on the device that the website is viewed on. Describe CSS media queries and screen resolutions. Classify fluid images. And differentiate between fixed and fluid grids. Phone, tablet, and computer screens, including the one you're probably using now, are made up of thousands of tiny lights called pixels. The resolution of your screen refers to the number of pixels it contains, most often expressed as the number of horizontal pixels multiplied by the number of vertical pixels. For example, a common computer screen resolution is 1920 pixels in width and 1080 pixels in height. Thanks to responsive design, websites can be correctly displayed on any of your devices. However, today we have many different screens with different resolutions, which is why responsive design is so important. And it is complicated by new high-resolution screens like the one found on your mobile phone. These screens group multiple physical pixels into one logical pixel to display smoother images and text. These are often used in your favorite smartphones to give more high-definition visuals, like making text, images, and rounded edges appear smoother and making the individual pixels less visible. Given all the possibilities and complicating factors, it would be challenging to develop websites that appear correctly on all kinds of devices if it wasn't for responsive design. Responsive design is a set of 3 practices that allows a website to automatically change its visuals. In other words, to respond based on the device it is displayed on. It is the combination of 3 techniques: flexible grids, fluid images, and media queries. Firstly, flexible grids are made up of columns, gutters, and margins. The space between the columns is called the gutter, and the spaces between the content and the left and right edges of the screen are called margins. Instead of defining website element sizes based on pixels, flexible grids are defined in percentage values, allowing them to adjust depending on screen size. Next, you have fluid images. By setting the CSS max width property of images to 100%, the images will scale down smaller if their containing column becomes narrower than the image's size, but never grow larger. This enables an image to scale down to fit in a flexibly sized column, rather than overflow it, but not grow larger and become pixelated if the column becomes wider than the image. Finally, there are media queries that are part of CSS. They allow developers to query the display size, orientation, and aspect ratio to conditionally apply CSS rules. For example, if you wanted your website background to appear blue on a screen size less than or equal to 700 pixels, like on a mobile phone, you could use a media rule to set the background depending on the size of the screen. Remember that I said responsive design is the combination of flexible grids, fluid images, and media queries? When these elements are used together, you build a website that will automatically adjust its layout based on the device, thus delivering a responsive grid. In responsive design, the pixel value specified is often referred to as the breakpoint. A breakpoint is the point at which a website's content and layout will adapt to provide the best possible user experience. A breakpoint can function in different ways across 3 different grids: a fixed grid, fluid or full-width grids, and lastly, hybrid grids. Let's explore each of these now. Firstly, a fixed grid has fixed-width columns and flexible margins. The fixed grid has a fixed content width that doesn't change in a specific breakpoint range, while the flexible margins occupy the remaining space on screen. Then, we have fluid or full-width grids with fluid-width columns and fixed gutters and side margins. The fluid grid has a flexible content width that goes edge to edge as per the screen size. In a fluid grid, columns either grow or shrink to adapt to the available space. And finally, there are hybrid grids that have both fluid-width and fixed-width components. Many responsive design frameworks provide multiple CSS rules based on different device sizes to provide the best visual experience. Now you know the importance of responsive design. In the next few videos, you are going to learn more about Bootstrap, the world's most popular framework for building responsive mobile-first sites.